I want you to get into Microsoft Word and make sure that you create a new document. Now I'm following the directions on the creating a brochure with Microsoft Word sheet. Okay, if you ever lose this, I have extra copies of that from my webpage. You can find it there. Or I might have extra copies up front. First thing it tells us to do, number one, is open Word by clicking on the Microsoft Word icon. We're already there. Number two, to set up the page, we're going to click on the File menu and Page Setup. We want to change our orientation to landscape and change our top, bottom, left, and right margins to 0.25. So I'm going to change all of my margins to 0.25. Then I'm going to click OK. Now, when I view my whole page, you'll see that my page has been turned sideways. So now I have a document that looks like this. Our brochure is created with our document turned sideways, or in landscape view. The next thing is we want to set up our 3 columns. Right now I can tell we don't have 3 columns because I'm looking at my ruler bar and it's one big column. So to change it to 3 columns, I'm going to go to my Format menu and click on the double arrows to expand, go to Columns, and choose 3. Now if I take a look at my top ruler bar, I can tell I am in 3 columns. The other thing that we want to make sure is that when we go to Columns and choose 3, that they're equal columns. Okay, so the equal column width is checked. Sometimes we want to have a line between columns, but on this brochure that we're doing together, we do not need a line between columns. We want to make sure the spacing between columns is 0.5. So right here, where it says column 1, width 3.175, spacing 0.5, we want to make sure it says at 0.5. So that is from direction number 3 on our instructions. I just been referring to number 3. Just the spacing. Okay, if you take a look at D in number 3, do you have the directions? Do you have this handout? Okay, it just tells to change the spacing to 0.5. The width, we'll leave it whatever it comes up with. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Direction number 4 tells us to view the whole page by clicking on 25%, 50% view. I chose the whole page view because we just want to be able to see our whole page. Okay, I've already talked about number 5, what the page is now set up. Remember, in that first column there, we're going to type the first fold or the inside fold of our brochure. The second column is going to be the back. The third column is going to be our front cover. As we finish the front cover, we'll just return down until we're on page 2 of this document, and then we'll create the back side of this brochure. Number 6, when we start to move around the page, when you reach the bottom of the first column, it will automatically move up to the second column. But occasionally we're working with graphics and we want to automatically move to the second column. To automatically move to the second column, it tells us that we have to insert a column break. And it tells us in number 6, letter B, how to end the current column that we're working on and move to the next column. But we're ready to go ahead and start creating this first part of our brochure. So we're going to do the helpful hints. You'll see at the top left hand, or at the top of column 1, we're going to start with a line. You can do this several different ways. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to hit enter about 3 or 4 times, just so I have some room below me to work, so I don't get blocked in. Okay? I'm going to hold down the shift key and just hit my underline key. It's just to the right of the 0 key. I'm going to draw a line in there. Hit enter 1 time. I'll hit enter twice maybe. Type in helpful hints. Enter twice. And draw another line. Now, if you take a look at your sample, we need to change the font and the size of helpful hints. So I'm going to highlight my text, helpful hints. I'm going to change my font to Arial. And let's see, let's take a look at what 24 would look like. And then I'm going to center that. Okay. And then we'll maybe make that Arial bold. Okay, that is looking good. Now I can click down below my line. And I'm ready to start putting in my bulleted list. I'm ready to start putting in my bulleted list. So, across the top row, or the second row of my Microsoft Word tools, I see my bulleted text icon. So I'm going to click bullets, and it brings in a little checklist, and mine moves all the way to the right-hand side. Yours may or may not. To adjust where your bullets show up, inside column 1, near the right-hand side, you have a couple little triangles. We have our first line indent and our tab and our return. So I am going to click on those little triangles and drag them off to the left. Drag my left L from my left margin off to the left, and my left indent. Okay? So now I have my bullet in there. To change the bullet, once we have our bullet in there, we're going to change it. So go to your Format menu. So go ahead, everybody, click on Format. And choose Bullets and Numbering. You may see a page turned in there. If you don't, click Customize. Okay, everybody with me? Then click Character. Make sure your font says Wingdings. If it doesn't, click on the little triangle and find Wingdings. Find Wingdings. On the right-hand side of all of our Wingding characters is a scroll bar. Make sure you're scrolled all the way to the top. In the second row, the third icon is the page turn icon. So click on that icon, click OK, and then OK, and now we should have changed, I got to move my, to the page turn icon. Yep. Okay, the question is, can we change the size of it because it's really small? I'm going to go back into Format, Bullets and Numbering, go to my Customize, and then this time, instead of choosing Character, I'm going to choose Font. And I'm going to start maybe with a 12. That didn't It didn't change it too much. Let's try this time. We'll try 16. Okay, 16 looks a little bit better. It's kind of annoying that it keeps changing our indent and things. Okay, now we're ready to type. So I'm going to type in the text that I see there. Follow project directions. I'm going to enter. Okay. Don't worry about the double spacing for right now. I'll show you how to double space in a moment. Save often. Use spell check. Proofread carefully. And check carefully for grammatical errors. Looks like we need to increase our font size a little bit, so I'm going to look at a 16, maybe 14. 14 size font looks pretty good. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get your bulleted text keyed in. Then I'm going to show you how to double space those items and put in our first screen bean. Okay, to double space our bullets, you can either manually double space by going in and putting an extra return at the end, hitting return a second time, and then backspacing once. When you hit enter the first time, it puts in a bullet, and then the second time you do it, you hit enter once, backspace 3 times. Or you could use the line spacing icon that's on your formatting toolbar and turn that to double spacing. Right here's the line spacing icon. Or you can manually do it with the enters. That's all we're going to have time for today. I'm not going to have time to show you how to put that graphic in until next time. So let's save this file. Go to File, Save As. You can leave it as helpful hints and save it into your digital technology folder. And we'll continue with this on Tuesday.